All right, hey guys. This video, sorry, we're going to talk about this week, kind of what you got going on. So we're done with the story, which is great. Hopefully, you understood it. It can be kind of confusing, I know, because as we've talked about, it's all told through journal entries, and his spelling and punctuation is really bad in the beginning because obviously he is a little slower mentally. Um, all that to say, it's an interesting story. It's not like one that you typically read, so hopefully you were able to kind of understand it and track with it. If not, hopefully the movie was helpful. I mean, that's why we watched it, was because it should be helpful. It's not exactly the same as the book, um, or the short story, I should say, but it's close enough to where if you understood the movie, you'll understand what happened in the short story. It's kind of like trash, like not exactly the same, but actually pretty close. Okay, so I don't have a lot of like new definitions or anything like that for this week. I just want to talk about in this video what you're doing this week and go over that because it's going to be a little different. Typically, I've been trying to assign like pretty much like like one assignment a day or maybe once every other day based on how long the assignment was. But today, my goal is just to send out all three of the weekly assignments today, and then you can work on them. You can get them all done today if you want. You can work on them anytime throughout the week, but they're available today, Monday, and they're not due until next Monday. So you can get that done however you want. If you want to save it all for next Sunday, that's fine. Just make sure you get all three of these things done this week. So we're going to talk about each assignment. These assignments are obviously about Flowers for Algernon, the story that we just read, and we kind of require your knowledge of the short story as a whole. Or things that we can only do now that now that we're done with the book. Okay, so the first assignment. You can do these in any order, I guess, but I'd probably recommend going in this order. First one is the plot diagram. I put diagram in quotes because it's not literally a diagram, it's just a Google Doc. Okay, so first thing you're gonna do is the setting, write down where the story takes place, 2 or 3 places, easy. Characters, main characters, Charlie, Miss Kinnian, easy. Okay, events, list what occurs in the beginning, middle, and the end. I don't want you to be I don't want you to be overly like detailed about this and spend an hour on it. Just think, okay, what goes on in the beginning of the story? Oh yeah, he signs up for the experiment and he does that Rorschach test thing. Okay, in the middle, well, he has the experiment. You know what I'm saying? So on and so forth. Just 2 or 3 things for each of these. Not a huge deal. I want to see that you can kind of remember the story in totality from beginning to end. Okay, conflict. Main problem of the story. What is the thing that happens that creates kind of the problem of the story? There's really a couple things you could choose from, I would say. Usually in a story, there's just really kind of one good one. There's a few that I think are acceptable. So think about it. What's the thing, the problem that drives this story? And then right there, climax. How is that problem solved? Remember, a problem can be solved in a negative or a good way. Like, by that I mean, after the climax, you should know the problem should be over. It can be over because it was successfully completed, or it can be over because it was unsuccessfully completed. Like, it's a sad story. So it's not a happy ending, but there's still the climax, the problem gets solved. They move on from the problem, but it's not necessarily a good thing. So how does the problem of the conflict get solved? Resolution, what happens after the climax? Okay. Character motivation. This is your second assignment. Yeah, let's talk about it. This is a little simpler. So motivation is why we do things. If our motivation is hunger, we eat. If our motivation is to look cool, we can try to dress like me, Mr. Comiskey. Below, you're going to find a list of characters. For each motivation, come up with what action they did in response. So the first one's an example. Charlie, main character. Motivation, he wants to be smart. That's his thought process. Action, here's a couple things. He goes to night school in the very beginning of the story, and then he signs up for the experiment. Like, he really wants to be smart, so he really goes for it. 3 more characters you're going to fill out. Miss Kinnian, one of her motivations is that she wants to help Charlie have a better life. You see that throughout the story. So here you're going to write, what are the actions? What are the things that she does because she wants to help Charlie have a better life? Write that where it says action. Dr. Niemer, his motivation. He wants to make an important scientific discovery and be famous for it. Great. So what does he do because of this? What does he do? That's the question. Lastly, Mr. Donergan, he wants to have a successful business with happy employees. That's his motivation. He's trying to make his company run smoothly. So what does he do because of that? All right, so this one hopefully shouldn't take too long, maybe even 10 or 15 minutes tops. Okay, last one, theme. Okay. So this one might be a little harder, although I don't think it should be. Remember, theme, we've talked a lot about this, is the message or the moral of a story. Okay. Now, for this one, I probably wouldn't have done this if we were in class normally, but because it's all online, I decided to make it a little easier for you. I came up with 3 things for you, 3 themes for you, I should say. Theme number 1, all human beings deserve to be treated respectfully. That is a lesson I think you can take from this story. Theme number 2, ignorance is bliss. Okay, let's stop on this one. You may have heard this phrase before, ignorance is bliss. Some of you may know what it means, but let's break it down in case you don't know. Ignorance is when you don't know things. If you're ignorant, some people use it as like dumb, but it's actually not what it means. Ignorant just means there's something that you don't know. Bliss means happiness. So ignorance is bliss, meaning sometimes not knowing something will make you happy. Like an example from ignorance is bliss. It's a phrase that's used all the time. Is let's say you were happily married and you loved your wife. And then you find out one day that your wife is cheating on you. And then you're not happy. Someone might look at that situation and say, hey, ignorance is bliss. It was better when they didn't know they were being cheated on because they were happy. So that theme of ignorance is bliss is pretty prevalent in Flowers for Algernon. Think about as Charlie becomes smarter and he becomes less ignorant and he knows more things, in some ways he becomes less happy. So that's what you should be exploring there with that theme. Lastly, theme number 3, everyone, regardless of disability, can contribute to society. That's kind of all throughout Flowers for Algernon. Although I would say if I was going to pick one of these 2, I would personally probably go with these 2. I think this one might be a little harder, but absolutely doable. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick one of these themes. You're going to rewrite it here, just copy and paste it. And that is going to be the theme that you're working with. So let's say you pick theme number 1, all human beings deserve to be treated respectfully. You would write that there. And then you'd go to evidence 1. What is an incident or event in the story that shows that theme? So as an example, I'm going to put this here. Now I'd be thinking here, okay, what is something that happens that shows that all human beings deserve to be treated respectfully? You would write an incident. I'm going to put when, and you can use this on your own if you do this one. When the dishwasher boy is yelled at. How does this incident or event show your theme? So when the dishwasher boy was yelled at because of his disability, how does it show that all human beings deserve to be treated respectfully? How does this prove my theme? I'm thinking about that now. I'm going to put, because we know Charlie used to experience things like that, meaning what happened with the dishwasher. It makes him so upset to see it happen. So, Charlie, we should not treat people like that. Okay, so then you do evidence 2 and evidence 3. again, in other words, you would do this again, come up with 2 more events or incidents, and explain how they prove your theme for the same theme. So there's 3 up here that you choose from, and then you pick one, and then you do all of this: evidence 1, evidence 2, evidence 3 for that one theme. Don't think like you have to do one for each. Okay. I'm gonna erase that. All right, so again, you have 3 assignments to do for this week. The plot diagram, the character motivation, and the theme evidence. You can get them done in any order you want. I would recommend doing them in this order, and make sure you have them all done by next Monday. Thank you. Bye.